Have you ever been puzzled by mysterious lamenesses with your horse, or do you just want to really take action to support his physical longevity? Or have you ever been challenged by a horse that tends to move heavy on his front end and not really collect naturally? Then you are in the right place. In the introduction to this video, I wrote about how as barrel racers, we really need to open our mind up to possibilities that go well beyond the limited thinking that tends to surround us. Keep in mind that just because something isn't being done or used in mainstream society doesn't mean it's not possible. For me personally, I've been conditioned to think this way, to look outside the box, to never just roll over and accept my conditions or my horse's condition as it's just the way it is and always will be. I am addicted to learning, and I'm always choosing to look for what is possible versus what isn't. The truth is that dressage experts especially have understood the importance and benefits of healthy biomechanics for ages. But this is an area where the Western and especially timed speed event competitors have really been behind the times. Slowly, there's a change occurring, however. People are realizing that there's more to running barrels than just yee-hawing and kicking and pulling around the pattern. That there is value and even more speed in developing our horses to think, move, and generally operate with greater precision and finesse. Think about this. Excellent farriers and equine body workers understand the importance of and focus heavily on the ideas of balance and alignment. When it comes to how our horses move their bodies, keep in mind that at a walk they carry 60% of their weight on the front end and 40% on the hind, and between 51 and 70% on the forehand at a gallop. So if a horse weighs 1,200 pounds, that's a lot of force coming down and it's a lot of wear and tear. It makes sense then to help our horses learn to move with more weight balance on the powerful hindquarters so that the front end isn't taking such a beating. What we're going to aim for is a horse that is lighter on the front end with smooth, graceful steps instead of hard, thunking ones. And the nose, head, and neck in a position that makes it possible for the horse to stretch, reach more deeply under themselves while lifting and rounding the back and withers. So often, problems really start with horses once they are started under saddle. And there are two main reasons for this. The first is the actual saddle, the second is the rider. Now, even with an excellent rider and a well-fitted saddle, a horse's biomechanics are going to be compromised due to that weight, that they wouldn't be without the saddle and rider. So in some cases, due to poor riding and training techniques or poor fitting equipment, our horses' bodies incur significant degrees of damage, so much that they lose body condition and essentially shorten their careers. When you factor in that even those who are conscious and still aren't always excellent riders, or that our equipment doesn't always fit perfectly, you'll start to realize that these factors cause our horses to develop habits of using themselves to compensate for discomfort, to counteract the weight imbalances, and to generally do what the rider influences them to do, whether they realize it's good for the horse or not. For example, barrel racers tend to sit a little more forward in the saddle because we do tend to spend some time actually hustling our horses at speed. But when we take on this posture in our general riding, it actually throws more weight onto the horse's front end, making them heavier there in general, which will transfer over to how they use themselves on the pattern and also contribute to soundness issues. Before we can truly learn to ride our horses sound, we need to be able to recognize and create quality movement and establish new habits in our horses without a saddle or a rider interfering, meaning that we start at ground zero. My goal in today's video is to help you identify the difference between poor versus high quality movement and give you the tools to create it by allowing your horse to find it on his own and then rewarding him for it. We can use these same techniques to help our horse find relaxation as well. Before you can motivate and reward your horse for moving well, it's important to first have a base of clear communication established on the ground. I'll be using .com here as an example because he came to us with some emotional baggage and physical damage to his body. For the exercises I'll show, we'll be simply lunging circles on the ground, ideally at a distance of 22 feet, but you'll want to have at least a 12-foot length of lead rope at minimum. To really benefit from what I'll be sharing, like I said, you'll first want to have a well-established means of communicating with your horse, especially by asking him to stop, either by using a vertical wave of the line or by using a stick in front of your horse. We'll essentially be sending our horse out at a trot and then just set it up and wait. We'll need a lot of patience at this stage, but if things are really ever going downhill at the same time, you never want to allow your horse to be too wrong for too long. If your horse is racy or disconnected, do some smooth, soft changes of direction. You can do more intense changes of direction for a horse that is putting in very little effort. Our goal is to do as little as possible to make the quality movement happen. What we want is for our horse to find it, even by accident at first, and then quickly reward him for it, which sets him up to make a mental connection between the two, and in time offer it more and more until it becomes a default way of thinking, being, and moving. So let's go give it a whirl. Now when you first give this a try, just let the horse trot around you while waiting for any kind of positive change, such as finding rhythm, lowering the head, or even blowing out. Give it some time and really do your best to just set it up and wait. Movement has the power to really get things moving through our horse. Not only does their circulation get going, but they tend to start processing and releasing built-up tension and emotions. Once you get a positive change, stop your horse smoothly but immediately and just turn away to take off all the pressure and just let your horse chill for a few minutes. Now, a sensitive, go-y horse will appreciate the release of all pressure, and a confident, lazier horse will appreciate the opportunity to rest. Both are very motivating. The next few times you ask your horse to go, he's likely to start thinking, I wonder what I have to do to get another break. Ask your horse to go again to repeat the process. In the beginning, this is not going to be very exciting and action-packed. It requires a lot of waiting. Waiting both for a positive change and waiting as the horse simply soaks. Remember, pressure motivates and the release teaches. The bigger the release, the more firm the learning. Even consider saying a specific word to your horse when he does well, which works as a bridge for positive reinforcement, meaning it makes it very clear to your horse when he's done something right. In the beginning, really look for your horse's head to lower. Again, this isn't about creating headset, but the head lowering is just the first door that opens toward a rounder top line, engaged abdomen, and balanced weight and quality forward movement. And don't forget about the forward. Relaxation in barrel horses is a lovely thing, but all this will defeat the process if you allow your horse to move lethargically, which is not part of quality movement and will not put you any further ahead. As you're waiting, don't forget to take on a posture and a mindset yourself, like you want your horse to have. Engage your own core. Stand relaxed but ready. Now, if something isn't working, rather than get frustrated, just think to yourself, what could be missing? Remember, you are doing this for your horse, not to your horse. When he feels that he's likely to relax and find that sweet spot. This is not something to rush, force, or get frustrated over, or it'll just put you further away from your goal and from the benefits you'll receive. In time, you can progress to asking for quality movement at a lope. Eventually, because of your new standards and because your horse has learned he is rewarded for moving with quality, it will become more and more of a default way of life for him, meaning he'll travel with more quality when ridden, on the barrel pattern, and even out in the pasture. It all transfers over, no matter what your horse's seemingly innate tendencies are. Of course, it does require discipline and consistency, especially in the beginning on your part. Don't allow your horse to move without quality at any time, on the ground, under saddle, on the pattern, or off. Have high standards and be particular about how your horse uses his body. Moving in a more balanced way will help prevent injuries, wear and tear, and set your horse up to use his body more powerfully in a run. Not only that, but your horse's physique will change, giving him a much more round, athletic top line. While you might start doing this exercise on level ground in an arena, there's even more benefits to be gained by challenging your horse to balance and find rhythmic quality movement over cavalettis or even small, gentle hills. Give this a try for at least 10 minutes, 5 days a week, for a month, and let me know how it goes in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed the information I've shared on the benefits of quality movement and healthy biomechanics, and the tips for sharing how to create it. In future posts, we'll be diving deeper into the two main ways that we tend to interfere with our horse's physical well-being, through saddle fit and through our riding, so stay tuned for that. When you take these steps and develop positive, healthy movement patterns on the ground first, you're going to be so much further ahead. Most importantly, remember, change is possible, and so is healing. Don't rule out the possibility for things to change for you and your horses in ways you have not even yet imagined. As barrel racers, we really oh, there was a fly in my eye. I need to start over.